It was one of those chilly afternoons when the world seemed heavy, when every breath looked like smoke in the air and every face seemed lost in its own story. At the bustling train station, thousands of travelers hustled past each other, eyes fixed on schedules, tickets, and the destination waiting beyond the platform. They were all on the move, yet hardly anyone saw anything but their own path. But amidst this sea of hurried souls stood Emily, a young woman with tired eyes and worn-out shoes, clutching a crumpled $10 bill in her hand, not because she had plenty, but because she had already given away everything else. Emily's pockets were empty, her wallet thinner than a sheet of paper, and her hopes weighed down by months of struggle. She hadn't eaten more than a simple meal in 2 days, her apartment rent was overdue, and the echoes of unpaid bills haunted her every thought. Yet, she carried that last $10 not as money, but as a token of hope. Her heart whispered to her that kindness was something worth holding onto, even when life took everything else away. Just then, she noticed a stranger sitting on a cold bench near the station exit, shoulders slumped, eyes downcast, and tears glistening on his cheeks. While others rushed past without a second glance, Emily felt something stir deep within her, an instinct that said, "See him, acknowledge him, be the light in his darkness." Most people avoid eye contact when life gets tough, their own worries become a shield between them and the woes of strangers. But not Emily. She took a breath, walked toward the man, knelt down beside him, and without hesitation, offered him her last $10. I don't know what you're going through," she said softly, her voice trembling slightly, "but maybe this can help, even just a little." The man looked up, stunned, because kindness was something he hadn't expected, and it hit him harder than any cold wind blowing through the station. Emily didn't know it yet, but her act was not just charity, it was grace delivered at exactly the right moment. What Emily didn't know was that this stranger was not a desperate traveler down on his luck. He wasn't someone who needed help, at least not the kind the world assumed. What made her gesture remarkable wasn't the amount of money she gave, but the sacrifice behind it. Her last $10 was literally all she had, representing meals she had skipped, bills she had delayed, and dreams she had postponed. It was $10 too expensive for her to give, yet she did it for a moment. Silence wrapped the two of them. The stranger's eyes softened, not because of the money, but because his heart recognized something rarer than wealth, it recognized genuine compassion. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, almost cracking with emotion. "You didn't have to do this," he said. "Thank you." Emily forced a small smile, not fully believing her small act could matter much. She expected nothing more than a simple "thank you" and perhaps a blessing whispered under his breath, something intangible that would go unnoticed by the thousands swirling around them. But life has a way of surprising us when we give without expectation. Hours later, after Emily boarded the late train to head home, long past sunset, her thoughts traveled in circles. Did I do the right thing? Did it even matter? She tried to push the moment aside as just another memory of kindness, something she hoped would be a small light in someone else's day. She was wrong. Because the stranger she helped was someone the world would have recognized, someone who wore success like an invisible cloak, someone whose identity was hidden by humility, not fame, a millionaire who was tested by life more than most people would ever know. He had been trapped in a personal storm bigger than financial trouble, a season of pain that made him doubt everything about humanity. People had offered advice, sympathy, pity, and even judgment, but very few had offered kindness without a hidden motive. And right there, at the crowded train station, in the eyes of a young woman who had nothing left to give, he found the answer to a question he had long forgotten. Do humans still care? That night, long after Emily had fallen asleep in her small apartment, the millionaire sat in his private study not far from the bustling city, thinking about her. Her courage to give everything she had, even when she did not have much, lit something in him nobody else had in years. He realized that the true measure of wealth was not stored in bank accounts or exotic homes, but in the capacity to give without expecting anything in return. The next day, he sought her out, not to repay her, because kindness isn't a debt to be repaid, but to honor it. And in that meeting, everything changed. Doors that had been closed for years swung wide open. Opportunities that had once been dreams became reality. Every hardship Emily had endured suddenly began to make sense, because her kindness was not just a moment in time, it was the beginning of a life transformed. Her story became a testament to the truth that when you give from what you have, not what you think you can afford, you unlock blessings far greater than you can imagine. Some call it fate, some call it destiny, but what it truly was simple, a reminder that love, hope, and kindness have power beyond money. So if this story stirred something in your heart today, if it reminded you that no act of kindness is too small, and if you want more stories that uplift, inspire, and renew your faith in humanity, then make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Join this community where everyone believes in the power of good, where every story matters, and where every soul is welcomed with open arms. Sparkles, subscribe now, because the world needs your heart, and will bring you stories that remind you why it matters.